Well, it wasn't pretty. I could kind of almost feel this one coming a little bit since last Sunday to put the Kansas game behind us and flip the page into Central Michigan. I knew this was a team that, just because Coach McElwain and his staff, Coach Akey on defense, they don't back down from competition environment. So knew we had our work cut out for us. Unfortunately, I think we made it a little more difficult than it needed to be. But as I always say, I think these teachable moments come a lot better on the end of the victory than defeat. So I know we can make some things happen. Give a lot of credit to them. I thought our players persevered, especially the second half, to come out and play the way they did. Was fun to watch. We just got to take care of some pre-snap issues, especially on offense. They were doing some things where they stand and move their front. We got some new personnel groupings in there, put some guys in different positions. Brendan Henderson is a guy we've been dying to get on the field, so threw him in a tight end number, which was awesome to get him out there on the field. Ironically, this officiating crew was the crew that last time we were together was at Wisconsin, so had that whole shared experience. It was fun to work through that. I think that's probably what started us off on the wrong foot today as it was, but I thought Luke Altmaier did some really good things, made some improvs, again, made some deep balls. Zari continued to catch the ball, Pat Bryan. It was good to get Josh McCray involved. The way the game had kind of played out through these first two, we hadn't been able to get him out there. Again, in my experience as a head coach, when you have running backs that are different, right, different pace cards, different skill sets, to have Caden in there, then to pop Josh in there, and then to pop Khalil in there. Khalil's got that little sidestep shuffle that's really impressive to watch. Super excited. I thought our defense was resilient. I gave a special shout out to Aaron Henry. I know that began to break in the media. He actually, I was in my office late Wednesday night. He came in the room and unfortunately lost his sister right in the middle of the week. And to have him persevere, our defensive staff took over and did a lot of things for him while he was kind of away from it for us a little bit. But to go 3 games into it right now and to have a few points as we have, speaks volumes about some of the stuff we're doing. But a tremendous task this week. Obviously, Nebraska plays UNI this afternoon. We'll dial into that. We'll turn the page very quickly tomorrow. Today is a Sunday already. Even though we just got done with our first game on Saturday, today's Sunday already because we're on a short week. So tomorrow will be a Monday, and Monday will be a Tuesday, and you can get it from there. So super excited. I know the outside world thinks we're 3-0, but we're going to try to go 1-0 every week and put our task at hand to get that done. So with that, open up for some easy questions.
Coach, a couple of talented outside receivers, Zachary Franklin and then Pat Bryan. What are they giving the offense right now?
Yeah, during my time here to have 2 perimeter players. So when you had Isaiah, Casey became a really effective player, and Pat has just grown so much from a year ago. When you can have 2 players of high caliber on opposite sides of the field, that's a very difficult thing to do or to take care of defensively. And then if you have a good run game or a dynamic quarterback, which I think we do, to have that with 2 perimeter players back in the time when I was in the NFL and really began to understand doubles and how to tip your hat to a go-to player, I think it's going to be hard for teams that set up and defend us when those 2 guys have a lot of width. So really excited. Both of them continue to catch the ball really well. Luke's throwing it. We got to get cleaner in the offensive line. I think we just got to challenge that group overall. They have to take a step forward to get to where we want to be. They got to play a lot better.
Brett, what is the key to getting balance with that rushing attack? What do you see?
Well, if we played 1 or 2 running backs, I think you guys would be all like, oh, the running back. If you just add up our rush totals, we're in good numbers. I don't really worry about the overall productivity, because overall we had those running backs together. They're doing some good things. You throw Luke in there, but there's no doubt in my mind we got to be more efficient on early down runs. Got to play ahead of the sticks. We put ourselves in too many 3rd and longs. On the flip side, defensively, when we were getting them in 3rd and longs, we were good, but when they were in 3rd and mediums and 3rd and shorts, that's when they were very effective. So a lot of good learning, but at run game, we say every player in my program, if you ask them what do good teams do, they should say run the ball, defend the run, and cover kicks, and obviously we got to be able to do that for 4 quarters.
Brett, you got 10 points on the double dip today. End of halves and beginning of halves was a big deal for you last year. It just seems like this veteran group has kind of recognized that.
Yeah, even when they got to score at the end of the first half, I looked at the clock. Ben Miller is an incredible good job for me of working kind of analytics, and he and I meet a lot during the course of the week. Ben's value has been unbelievable for us. I give Josh and the administration a lot of credit to keep him and put him in an environment where he can just help me on a daily basis. He was all over it. Talked about how to manage the clock. Even last week, I called a timeout on a 2nd down play, which ended up giving us a chance to score last week. So I thought that was really critical. I did think that if we got to the 35, we would have a chance to hit a field goal, and we were just right there at it. So I knew we were going to go with Chow, and I've seen Chow hit a 60. I think he hit a 64-yarder in practice or something like that with about 5 or 10 yards to spare. So he's got an incredibly talented leg, and to get 3 points there and to come out and get 7 on the back half of the start of the second half, that was a big deal. So it ended up being a really big part of the game, actually.
We're talking about challenging the offensive line. What have you seen from them?
Well, first off, they're very talented, right? Like from left tackle with JC Geske, when he's playing well, plays really well. Josh Kreutz is a very good football player in this league and has played a lot of good football for us. Zai has flashed at times, and then Melvin Priestley, when he's playing for us, plays very well, right? Like he's got to control the moment, and that's what I said. I said, our guys, we're trying to put together a game-winning drive to seal the game and move on, and they're spending more time talking to their team than they are to our team, right? And we can't do that, right? Those are very teachable moments. I can't wait to kind of have that moment with them and kind of show them and appreciate where we got to go, because this team is a good enough football team that one of the things that I've tried to teach and instill in them that they will go as far as they want to go, right? A lot of times the self-inflicted wounds cause you more failure than anybody.
Was Ethan, has he always been the 59-yard field goal guy, or was that
Ethan?
was it after David missed from 50?
So kind of a work in progress. When we saw his, he was literally, I think, the best high school coach kicker in the country when he came out, signed with A&M. I remember when his name came up, Dish and Chris Hurd both reached out to me and said, Coach, we can get this guy. This is a special opportunity. So I brought him in on his official visit. He came with his dad, and just his experience at A&M wasn't a very positive one. Let you answer that, right? Like he just kind of talked about what he could do to maximize his leg strength. So we did what we had to do, got him here, thankfully, and I literally, that first practice, I was like, oh, this is different, right? And in camp, I want to say the first 3 or 4 practices, he was perfect, never missed, hit one from 60 plus. I can't remember if it was 62, 64, whatever it was. And then actually had a little soft tissue injury pop up, so that's why we kind of backed off a little bit. And David had just been hitting the ball so well, and then it was fun to see David have success with Chow today, so it's hopefully a 1-2 combo that will be able to pay dividends for us.
Brett, Seth and Gabe really felt like they dominated this
Yeah.
game for a long time. Just what does that mean for your defense when those guys are doing that in the secondary?
Ironically, right, these first 3 teams that we've played, I've had a pretty good relationship with these coaches, so it's kind of been fun for me to talk. I know if you really watch college football, you realize how much coaches talk to one another, right? So when we got done with Eastern Illinois, when we got done with Kansas, and I know Coach McElwain, like one of the things that commonly comes up is just those 2 guys on the edge, 9 and 17, they're hard to handle. They play a lot of power, a lot of strength. We do a lot of different things with them. It was fun to see Gabe have some production today and see that go forward. Just really excited about that.
What more can
after this.
What more can your defense do when T-Rod's maybe getting the kind of pressure he is
Yeah.
up the middle?
So it was fun. I tend to watch things through a different lens, and so Tuesday's practice, I'd made a cut-up of everybody's individual time, which is their time with their players. And I showed the defensive line, and J-Mo talked through with our entire staff because he did some very specific things. He had 182 plays before practice got into our third period, right, with his defensive lineman, where he just works a specific drill. And one of them was he was getting T-Rod to pressure through the A-gap and then break down on a quarterback, right, because he's been able to apply some pressure, but he hasn't been able to get him down. So T-Rod's a very dynamic player. When you can put pressure on their center, we probably thought going in this game that the center was their best player up front. So we really want to get after him and see where it goes.
Coach, you keep talking about
More
the
Joey
1-0
after this.
each week. You keep talking about the 1-0, but 3-0 hasn't happened there in a long time. Just what's that mean to you guys overall?
I appreciate that, and I know that our guys will hear it, but I've literally just been hammering them. I make 3 keys to victory every week, and our first one this year was 1-0 mentality. I think it's not just rhetoric. I think our guys understand it. Even though I knew today was going to have some speed bumps, I just knew it. I mean, it's just part of being a coach. I've been doing this for a long time, and I knew those hiccups were going to come. But it was interesting. So we moved up our because we had a 7 a.m. We always have a pregame meal 4 hours from our first game, right? So when you have a game at 6 o'clock, it was at 2 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Well, those are in the afternoon. We had a pregame meal this morning at 7 a.m. And it's just different, right? I came over at 5 a.m. and got a little steam with Pat Hamilton because that's what we do for the game. So grabbed a Starbucks on the way back to the hotel. Like, it was a little bit out of it, but I keep talking to these guys about routine. Like, the more you build a routine, the better you're going to perform, right? And I thought it was interesting last night. We moved our bed check up from 11 o'clock to 10:30 because I wanted to let them have 8 hours before we woke them up, right? Trying to give them 8 full hours. And a simple rule in our hotel: if you latch the door because you've gone to sleep, you can just latch it, and then the coaches will come in, see if they're sleeping or in their bed, and they'll go. So I believe we have over 50 rooms, and all but 3 rooms. I think Luke was up brushing his teeth, so he's got great hygiene apparently. And then there was an outside linebacker room where they're both sitting in bed watching TV. There was 3 rooms that the room wasn't totally asleep at 10:30 at night, right? And I know 11 o'clock kickoff, man. When I was my first year at Wisco, we were 12-1. I had 11 o'clock kickoff in all 13 of those games, and I was promise you, we were riling them to get them in the hallway right at that time. These guys just have an edge. They understand their preparation. We could jump them pretty good at halftime today. I like this football team. I think they're going to be very excited to prep this week and go to Lincoln and see exactly where we can go.
Joe, last one, Luke was operating pretty well with that RPO.
Mm-hmm.
What do you like about how he's orchestrated the offense from that?
You know, Luke is, as far as I'm concerned, like one of the greatest things Luke brings to the table is he has a great understanding before the ball is snapped. He really understands coverages. I meet with those guys a couple times a week, and Barry's in there sometimes, but a lot of times if the quarterback's talking, I want to hear them talk, and just the volume of his voice, but also Donovan Leary and Kirk, they actually give a report and they talk to Luke, right? They empower him, and those guys are talking about so many things that they read pre-snap. I think it's very impressive to see that thing kind of play out, right? And they know the strength of that room is in that room. Obviously, Luke's on the field, but Donovan and Kirk have been awesome to prep him, and Art Sikowski's been a tremendous asset in that room overall with Barry, which has been fun to watch.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.